got to follow the example of America, Canada. They've built some really good squads there with some really good players, sprinkling of older players and a lot of youth, you know, and that are open to new things. So listen, it's the answer to your question.
A disappointing ending, you know, we're basically must be disappointing to you.
Yeah, disappointing because, like I said to you, I get sick of being in promising positions and then losing the game. It's just not good enough. Us as a group have to question ourselves, and I didn't say too much in the changing room because, you know, tempers can fly. You've got to reflect on everything, but you've also got to ask us. I just left them with a question: are we good enough as a group? Did we perform enough as a group? Did we answer all the questions that were posed to us? And we probably didn't. And I need them to be honest with themselves, as well as me being honest with myself, and everybody being honest with themselves. So, yeah.
What technically where do you think went wrong in this campaign, from your perspective?
Like I said, it's tough to say now. I've got to reflect on the whole thing. We've got to look at everything that happened, even from way back in the Gold Cup, and understand where we went, what went well, because we've had some really good things come out of this campaign. We've had some really good things come out of tonight's game. Richard King being one of them. Greg Lee playing really well, even though we got found out for the goal, the penalty. However, listen, if you look at the young players that we've got, the future is quite bright, and it's about getting them programs and getting them a structured program for them to be able to grow.
Is your future, coach?
My future?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's here. You know, I'm a Jamaican, and we want to make sure that we build a future. The American coach has done it, right? And they're a fantastic football team. John Herdman, he's done it at Canada, and they're a fantastic football team. So I'm no different. That's what I want to do. I want to build a team of young Jamaicans, you know. And I remember that back in '97, when we first started our results changing, we had lots of Jamaicans, and there was just 3 of us come in and sprinkling to add value to what we had. So, you know, that's kind of my persuasion.
Any ideas towards that? You mentioned developing some youth. Do you have any specific ideas?
Well, if you look at, I think if you just look at the first half, you know, of Peru, and then you look at Richard King's performance tonight, that's twice he's done that for me now. Yeah, I would be a fool to ignore that, and he's proved himself. And I think he probably needs to get stronger. He probably needs to be tested overseas, maybe. But he also needs a program for myself to be able to grow and pure contact. But as Mr. Downswell, the technical director, we've followed up all of those young players and given them programs with the Premier League teams, and just not ignored them because they're not with us. But if I'm being honest with you, I could have called up any one of those guys to be in this squad, it makes me a little bit happier as I'm talking to you.
The system that you used in the final game here tonight,
I'm happy about that.
Would it be the system going forward?
I just think it told us a lot about ourselves. You know, we found out a lot about ourselves. I found out a lot about individuals in the you know, us as a group. But 3 at the back really suited us. I don't think Costa Rica expected it, and I don't think they knew how to deal with it. Our players did, and you know, historically, Jamaica have always done well with a 3 at the back. Cool. I'm not saying that it will always help us dominate, but I think it's something that we found out about ourselves tonight.
Well, 3 games ago, coach, you know, what can we expect from you, and can we expect, you know, the same team, or, you know, this Englishman coming back?
Well, you know, I want to see the players develop. That's what you can expect. I'm a developer by heart, and I want these young players to come through and make it difficult for me to be able to call anybody else. You know, these young players, why shouldn't we have young players who come through and fill the boots of the older ones? It's really important. And I mean, like I said, when I go back to the Peru game, these guys were class in the first half, you know, and there's a few on there tonight, and it's about getting them and helping them grow and helping them become more confident. and getting them to understand, it's a style of play that we want.
So can we see a lot of young players for those 3 games?
Which 3 games?
The next two, the last 3 games.
Well, maybe. I mean, we can. We have to. Like I said to you, it's a bit soon to be. The wound from tonight is just really sore. Losing a game like that, I think that's probably been the hardest game for me to take in terms of losing. But we've got to move forward, and we've got to look forward and see what our options are, and just reflect.
You mentioned Richard King. You have any other names of like some young players you're interested in?
You could take your pick from the Peru bunch. I think.
What about Alex Marshall?
Yeah. Listen, like I said to you before, that week was probably the best week I've spent. It was constant with the players. I constantly hammered in the principles of what was to be expected, and I think you really did see it. And if it wasn't for fitness, you're going to get a bunch of kids really taking it to a team that's probably going to qualify for the World Cup from South America, and you realise the size of the job that they did. So yeah, there are other names, but it would be unfair to just pick 1 or 2 out. But because Richard played tonight and he played so well, that's definitely.
In hindsight, coach, do you have any regrets about team selection, formation, anything that you'd have done over the last 3 games?
There's always something you could have done better. Good question. Always something you could have done better, and when you reflect, you'll always think, oh, maybe I could have done that a little bit sooner, or I could have played that shape. I think the fact that we played so well in the shape tonight, maybe we could have done something at some point. But I've always thought that the planning was good, and when you go 1-0 up against Mexico, right, and when you go 1-0 up against Panama, there is something in there that we did right. And we did right tonight. There was, we were in a strong position, and then that's something that we have to work on, So yes, there are things that I could have done, but I think that's a question for everybody, for the players, for the staff, and we just got to be honest with ourselves.
Okay.